Hello guys, welcome to the episode. Today's episode is taking place in a park in The Hague, and it's known to me as the Woodpecker Woods. And in April, May, the local woodpeckers here, I think they're called great spotted woodpeckers, they dig holes in all of the trees around here and make their nests and lay their eggs, and a little bit later in the year the chicks hatch. So I'm looking forward to bringing some of that activity to you guys later in the spring and early summer. But today's episode is about my February microstock earnings, so we're going to get right into it. So a couple of highlights with Adobe Stock was one of my favourite subjects, and that's of an electric car being charged with one of those electric plug-in sockets, and that photo earned me $1.95. Another photo that earned me more than the usual 33 cents or the 99 cents was one of a view of the Hague skyline. And I always like taking these panoramic scenic shots, and in this case that photo earned me $1.98. In total, Adobe Stock earned me $15.80 for the month of February. Hoi! Mag die kant op, als je wil. Netherlands is a crowded place, so it's really hard to find somewhere at home to do these films, because usually there's people walking in and out. And I've also found on a Sunday in the local parks it's hard to do these films without interrupting other people taking their Sunday walk. Okay, on to the next agency, Deposit Photos. And I had a disappointing month with Deposit Photos, only sold one photo, and that was for 25 cents. Deposit Photos I like because they're quite easy to upload to, and they're fuss free. And normally I do sell quite a few photos on that agency. The reason I haven't sold any this month, or only one, is because I simply haven't uploaded enough to that agency. And on Big Stock I had one highlight, well actually two highlights, and that's of the tall buildings or the skyline in The Hague on a sunny day. And I sold two of those photos for $1 each, which for Big Stock is pretty impressive. For the total amount of sales on Big Stock, I earned $3.75. Okay, and now on to my most successful agency for the month of February. And if I don't want my account blocked by them, I'm not allowed to disclose my earnings about this agency, or I can't name them, so we'll refer to this agency as the agency that cannot be named. I sense there's a noisy family walking past, so I'm in two minds whether to keep going or pause until they go past. I think I'll pause. Okay, back onto the agency that must not be named. There were a couple of highlights this month, and one was I sold a video file for $42.60, which is pretty rare for these times. Hello. And I don't think I've sold one for that much in a few months, so that was a good omen. Another highlight was that I sold 9 photos of commercially grown flowers such as daffodils, tulips and hyacinths grown in the flower fields of the Netherlands in the west. And the most I sold one of those photos was for $1.21. So yeah, those photos are selling quite well across all of the agencies at the moment, because the springtime is coming and the flower season obviously is coming, so a lot of publications are using or buying those for April, May perhaps. and I sell quite a lot of them across the other agencies as well, so they're good solid sellers for me, equally as solid as the VW photos that I sell. A low light, however, was that I sold one video file of that gannet trapped in plastic for only $1.30, which was pretty disappointing. But in total for the agency that must not be named, where I have a total of 2,200 photos and about 122 videos, I made $60.99. Actually, $60.97. And now on to Dreams Time. It was a pretty disappointing month for Dreams Time. I think last month I sold 2 photos for $2 each, but this month was a lot less impressive, and I only made $3.42 out of the whole month. And I have around 2,600 images on Dreams Time, I believe. One highlight was of a classic car, an AMC Pacer, which was, I think, highlighted in the film Wayne's World. It was just parked on the street around the corner from where I live, and it's a pretty rare car in Europe. I think it's also a rare car in America now, probably because it wasn't particularly popular, but it does have a kind of kitsch cult status. That photo sold for 38 cents, but I think the base level of most of my photos on Dreams Time is 38 cents. But I didn't highlight that for the price that it made or the profit that it made. I just highlighted it because I like that subject, and whenever I see a subject that sells that I really like, it gives me a warm fuzzy feeling inside. And on to Pond 5. I think for the 3rd or 4th month in a row I haven't sold anything on that agency, not one video, and I think I've only got 1 photo on that agency. So it's pretty dry for Pond 5, but I haven't been filming too many compelling subjects and uploading those videos either. I think the one that usually sells on Pond 5 for me is that gannet, and a couple of others such as the Hague skyline with someone riding on a bike path towards it. But they're probably more spring and summertime photos. So it's 0 for Pond 5. And now to iStock Getty, where I have a few thousand images and I think about 30 or 40 videos, probably a bit more actually. There was a highlight of one video sale, and that was for $7.30 of the usual gannet in plastic. And a low light was a green parasol, well, a photo of a green parasol with a nice blue sky background. That only sold for 3 cents. So yeah, it was an average month for iStock Getty, and in total I earned $16.72 for that agency. Okay, now to Alamy. And Alamy has been pretty strong in the last 3 or 4 or 5 months actually. I don't think I've gone a month in the last 5 where I haven't made a significant sale on that agency, which it gives me hope. And I think I've got about 2,600 photos uploaded to that agency, so you would expect also some sales. But this month I sold a photo of a modern hearing aid on a white background. It's kind of a flat lay. It's a modern hearing aid, so first of all the person wearing it has to have an operation where they have an implant put in their head and that's magnetized. And then this hearing aid piece just sticks onto that magnetized piece, and there's maybe, I don't know if it's wireless or Bluetooth, but somehow a signal goes to the hearing aid and the person can hear. And this is one of those lessons that I learnt early doing stock photography, is that if you're somewhere and you you keep your eyes and ears open for a subject that could be used for your stock photography portfolio. And I was sitting at a relative's house, and an old auntie came to visit, and I noticed they were talking about her operation to put this hearing aid in, and she took it off and put it on a table. And I just asked her if it's okay if I photograph it and put it on this stock agency. And she said, yeah, that's fine. I also took a close-up photo of it on her head as well. And that photo was also sold quite regularly. So it's like under health and medical subjects. And yeah, what did I sell that photo for? On Alamy I sold that photo, which paid off this month. I put no money into getting the shot. There was zero investment, and I made $37.40 just by asking a question and taking a photo. Less than 2 minutes work and maybe 5 minutes work editing it, keywording and uploading it. So that has really paid off. Before I get into the total amount of money I earned with microstock in February, if you feel like supporting my channel, in the description field there's a link to buying me a decaf cappuccino. So if you feel like making a small donation to support the channel, it'd be most welcome. Or if you aren't up for that, feel free to hit the like or subscribe button for this channel as well, and you'll be most welcome to see my videos, which I upload every week. Anyway, without further ado, I earned $139.31 in the month of February, which is my largest earning for 3 months for stock photography and videography. And in January I earned $112, and in December I earned $126. So for the last 3 months I've earned more than the other 2 months before it. In November I earned a whopping $749, and that's because I sold a photo for $600 on the agency that must not be named. And in October I earned $219. So my earnings are up and down. This month I did upload a lot more videos. So for that $139 I probably put in about 2.5 hours work just uploading those videos. So that's a pretty good return for my efforts. Although if I want my returns in the coming months and years to increase, then my uploading will also have to increase, because the less you upload, the less you earn, obviously. So I've got a little announcement to make and some good news. Back in December or January I qualified for some free Adobe products where I uploaded, or I had enough files sold to earn me a year's free subscription to either Photoshop, Lightroom or Premiere Pro or After Effects. The only problem was my computer was too old to really make the most of those new apps. I'd had my MacBook Pro 13-inch for about 10 or 11 years, and it's going strong. There's nothing wrong with it. The only trouble is I can't update the operating system anymore. So I can't edit any new files. Like if I rent a Canon R5, I can't edit those CR3 files. So it was time to make an upgrade, and so I've been saving my microstock earnings over the last 4 or 5 months, and the time has come where I've made a purchase, and that's the new MacBook Air M1 with the M1 chip. And because I've purchased this, I can make the most of the Adobe Premiere Pro that I'm going to use, the free version, and it's going to be the latest version of Premiere Pro, and I'll be able to upload or edit 4K clips, and it'll be really fast. It'll be a lot faster than my old computer, which you couldn't really edit the clip. It would just jutter along. You couldn't scrub through the timeline without it just pausing and shutting down. So that's my new MacBook Air. It is absolutely tiny. Absolutely tiny. It looks big here, but if I just do it back here in comparison to my fairly big head, it is absolutely tiny, and it's about a quarter of the thickness of my original MacBook Pro from 2010. So I bought this for about 1,200 euros, and no, 1,100 euros roughly, don't quote me. And I bought also a connector for this, I think it's called Lightning, all these adapters, and I also bought a mouse for it. So all up it was about 1,300 euros. I'll be doing a review on this in the coming months, just to let you know how I've been going with it. But that's the latest news. It's all pretty exciting, but I was happy to reinvest into my business instead of, for once, buying white goods that were needed for the household. So I'm proud that I can buy this tool. It's only a tool to improve my working and speed it up, and it's going to be a real advantage in the future. So that's it for today's episode, guys. I hope you are having some success with your uploading to the stock agencies or with your photography, and I will see you on the next episode next week. Look after yourselves and see you then. Bye.